Anger. How about that? Hey, I want to speak to you a little bit about anger, but I want to bring to you first a proverb that you may have heard before. It's Proverbs 16:32, and it goes something like this. It says, "He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city." In other words, this is the idea of valuing self-control, the ability to control one's emotions or actions over the ability to conquer or dominate others. Why am I bringing this up? Here's the idea. Why is a chiropractor talking about emotions and things like anger? Well, believe it or not, 80% of all the people that come into my office, their problems are some form of an emotional aspect that's then landed in their body. It started off as a thought. They dwelled on the thought. They continued to think on the thought, and then it ended up lodging in their body in the form of back pain, neck pain, headaches, high blood pressure, diabetes, muscle tension, muscle tightness, digestive disturbances, glandular problems, and the list goes on and on. The research just says 20% of the people that are sick, it's due to a toxin or a trauma, and the other 80% are due to some psychosomatic or an auto-suggestion of some type. So this is why understanding how emotions impact the body might be a wise decision to look at. I'm interested in helping my patients not just physically, but also mentally. So I want to talk to you about anger. Now, a lot of you may say, well, I don't get angry. Well, there's mild forms of anger, and then there's extreme sets of anger. So here's some of the words that you might be familiar with. Annoyance or displeasing, exasperated, maybe resentment. These are some of the easier words. Irritation. But then they get to words like infuriated, irate, indignant, furious, revenge, vexation, scorn. How about this one? Pissed off. These are all forms of anger, even to the extremes like rage and wrath. Here's why these are important, because our emotions change the chemistry in our physiology. They change the chemistry in our body. And if we hold on to something long enough, it changes the chemistry, which then changes the physiology, which then creates dis-ease in the body and disturbs our internal mechanism. So therefore disturbs our mind and then disturbs our body. So we're teaching on how you can take something like anger or any derivative of the word, mild or extreme, and how we take another emotion called patience and neutralize the anger so it calms down your mind and it calms down your body and begins to dissolve the disturbance, dissolve the dis-ease, reverse the process so you get health, wellness, and vitality, especially the peace of mind. So it might be wise for you to understand a little bit about how anger and patience go together and how to dissolve these angry tendencies with patience. So we're teaching a course on that. The information's there for you. I look forward to seeing you and learning more as we go.